Shameless Media.
This episode of Shameless is brought to you by Revo Fitness, the no-fuss, no-lock-in gym that's shaking up the fitness game in Melbourne and across the country.
Hello and welcome to Shameless, the pop culture podcast for smart people who love dumb stuff. You're joined, as always, by Melbourne writers Michelle Andrews and Zara McDonald.
Hello, Zazie McDonald, and hello and welcome back to producer Annabelle Lee.
Hi, Belly. It's so good to see you.
I'm so happy.
Oh, are you though?
Yeah. I don't know what. I'll explain that later.
When you walked into the office this morning, it was like sunshine herself had walked in.
Jesus is back. Coming up on today's show, we're not allowed to script these anymore, to be honest. We've changed our own rules. Yeah, Belly, huge. Lots of changes around here. So there's a few things that are going on.
Tell us about them.
Firstly, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case, new text messages leaked, including Taylor Swift, Jameela Jamil. We also had Jenny Slate. Lots going on there. It's going to take us a long time to unpack it all. We also have Kim Kardashian making some comments about Taylor Swift, which I care about.
Saying some things.
Yeah, we got to update the Beckham story with the DJ entering the chat.
You haven't seen any of this, have you?
No, absolutely.
It's so offline.
Are Margot, Robbie and Elordi affair baiting?
I've seen this.
Are
I've
they
seen this.
sexing each other?
No, definitely not.
Oh, no, they're not. But that's
what-
the question on everyone's lips.
Well, I don't even know if it is. They've just got some interesting quotes, and then there's a new family about to dominate reality TV. That's the structure of our new intro. How do we go?
Yeah, let's go.
I love that.
Shackers.
I think, Shaq is, I think the less scripted, the better.
How are you, though?
I'm really good.
Am I allowed to ask
rewatched-
that in these episodes
Look,
now?
I think we're still getting familiar with the format of the 3 episodes thing. I don't think we're supposed to talk about this in a Thursday episode, but we make our own rules. While I'm here, can I just give a very quick recommendation? People should rewatch the Hilary Duff movie,
Which one?
Wait, which one?
the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, yes.
I was like, are we talking a Cinderella story?
that one
Agent
is
Cody
good.
Banks, is she in that one?
I confused Hilary Duff, the person, with Lizzie McGuire,
Yeah.
the character. No, rewatch it. I
Okay.
just think an amazing use of time all round. Doesn't matter how many times you've watched it, it's always a good time.
I would quickly like to just throw to Belly. She's been on long service leave.
Yes. I've been here for almost 7 years.
Long
Side note.
service leave. Did you have something to add about being back or just...
Happy to be. On the topic
Thanks.
of movies, that's something that me and Stevie, my boyfriend, we were away together, did every few nights. We would just watch like an old movie.
Lovely.
Cheaper by the Dozen was one of them.
Do I spy a fringe?
Oh, yes. I got a baby fringe. Also,
She's a
it's
fringe
so
friend,
hot.
not a fringe foe.
I'm a fringe friend. I got a little one. Am I cheating by not getting a full front?
Well, I didn't think you were getting one at all, so I'm just super excited.
I can't believe you actually, before the break, we said, well, Annabelle, if you're a fringe friend, you have to bring some level of fringe to the show, of which I haven't yet. I'm a fringe foe still. And you just turned up with a fringe.
Well, my hair was all like gross and janky after my trip, so then I was like, I'll just cut it all. You know
Did you
what I
cut
mean?
it yourself?
No. I got a professional hair by Hong.
Not
Shout out.
sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored at all.
Shout out. Okay, well, thank you for fringing with me in 2026.
Thank you for bringing it to the world.
I actually may not fringe for 2026.
Hey.
This would be something for Friday's episode. That's what we keep saying, and I keep bumping the fringe chat. Honestly, we have to get into it because there's so much to cover.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, the quick and dirty is the top 5 stories of the rough and tumble of the celebrity and pop culture news cycle. Zara dressed like a literal Angel McDonald.
Angelic.
The top, how would we describe it? Like something
White?
It's
like a
very
cloud?
Wuthering Heights lace.
Oh, it is actually a little bit Margot Robbie Wuthering Heights pressed through at the moment. You are right.
What have you got for us?
Our first story. The Baldoni versus Lively feud. Explosive texts released between Lively, Taylor Swift. That is from Forbes. I do think you probably could have picked a better headline to sort of, that didn't roll off the tongue, that one.
You know what? I knew that in my heart. What would
Yeah.
you have preferred? Oh, can I try one? I'll
Yeah.
create my own headline. Baldoni versus Lively feud. Explosive text released between multiple A-list celebrities, including but not limited to Jameela Jamil and Taylor Swift.
I sort of would have restructured the sentence and put Baldoni versus Lively feud at the end in the Baldoni versus
Me too.
Lively feud.
I also would have
Good time,
removed.
Belle.
I also would have removed my really awkward stumble halfway in the middle.
That's all right. Saves Mon one more edit that you've mentioned the stumble. Now she doesn't have to edit it out.
Producer Mon.
Okay, guys, so much to update you on when it comes to this case. A trove of documents have been unsealed, which tends to happen, honestly, it feels like every few weeks in this case.
Why? I know you're not a lawyer, but you're like my my kind of lawyer? Because you seem to have a lot of lawyers in your life. Do you know why this happens every few weeks?
I don't know. Oh, no. By the way, this is a stab. This is not. I don't know if it's just it gets to a certain point after a certain amount of time when they've been filed that they do unseal them.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. But this is probably the most high-profile set of documents to have been unsealed, I would say almost in this entire case. So many headlines. I do think we should start with the text messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift that have been released.
Yeah, we're going to try our best as well. When we read you guys the various texts that have been unsealed or emails that have been unsealed, we'll try and situate it in time for you. This conversation between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift happened in December 2024 before the New York Times expose. So like this is in the aftermath of Blake Lively kind of being quote unquote cancelled and her being quite low. Like
mentally,
things were
definitely.
bad.
Yeah, completely.
Do you want to be Blake or do you want to be Taylor?
I don't mind. You should be Taylor, I guess.
That's friendship.
Okay, so Blake texted Taylor in December 2024, as Mish said. Hey, just checking in. I have no reason to ask, but I don't know. I've been feeling like I should. Is everything okay? I feel like a bad friend lately because I was such a sad sack who only talked about my own shit for months. You were generous to not only be the key person there for me during all of it, but also to let me off the hook for being so in it. But I still have a feeling something may not be right. I told Ryan. He said to just ask you, but I felt so stupid and like it sounded needy and awkward for everyone, especially because I can't explain why I have this feeling. And you know I have toxic masculinity, so I can't be needy, smiley face. But also, I do want to know everything is good, so I'm asking. I always want the opportunity to be a better friend if there's something I unintentionally did. I know how busy and taxed you are physically, emotionally, practically, so I don't expect any more from you ever, just want to make sure all is good.
All right. Taylor Swift responded, no, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal. I think I'm just exhausted in every avenue of my life and in recent months had been feeling a little bit of a shift in the way you talk to me. Yes, there has been a lot of the Justin stuff, but I've been through things like this before and I know how all-consuming it is. It's more like, and I feel really bad even saying anything about this because your texts have been so nice in their intent, but your last few, it's felt like I was reading a mass corporate email sent to 200 employees. You said the word we like 18 times. And it feels awful to be in any way critical of any way you process what you've been going through, but I just kind of miss my funny, dark, normal speaking friend who talks to me as herself, not like a plural unit. And I know you feel attacked from all sides for ridiculous reasons, so you're feeling like you have to overtly explain things or be overly nice or whatever, but it's me. That's just caused a little distance.
How do you read this?
I really like this exchange. I am a little surprised this happened over text, because sometimes I think when you're best friends and you think there's distance, you should just pick up the phone and do it on a phone call.
I do wonder though, Taylor Swift was in the back end of her tour. Time zones.
Yep, fair.
Touring. It may not have been physically possible. I agree with you though. I would ideally try not to do this over text, but I think text is better than nothing.
I overall loved
it
it from both ends to be like, hey, just checking in. I feel anxious. I've spoken to my husband. He wants me to just he thinks I should just ask you, have I been a crappy friend at times kind of thing? And the response to be like, yeah, maybe, but it's also not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I know you're going through a lot. This hasn't sat super well sometimes, but also I love you and I'm your friend.
Yeah, and I felt like it was a very human depiction of like a normal friendship, which is
Same.
absurd to say because obviously they are normal people, but sometimes I think we forget that in, the grand story of celebrity. Yeah, I also think I wouldn't be surprised if for the back end of 2020, this was 2024, for the back end of 2024, if Blake Lively was gearing up to sue and knew that everything she was putting in writing was going to be subpoenaed, so was speaking in more corporate jargon, was speaking more carefully even to those closest to her, even if she trusted them, knew that it could be used against her.
She alludes to that in her next text. So she then responded to Taylor and said, dear valued customer, thank you for your feedback. For real though, you're right. I've become digitally paranoid. I've internalized that everything digital may be public. I say that knowing it's irrational, but my brain cannot accept rationale here. On top of that, I'm overpackaging simple things because I've felt so deeply misunderstood that I don't trust my judgment of myself anymore. This fucking guy and what he did to me, as in Justin Baldoni, gave me an identity crisis legitimately. The thing that spooked me most in all of this, though, wasn't the bad guys being bad guys. It was the good guys, my lifelong friends, allies to women, who quietly dipped. And so I'm probably being over the top with my friends who stayed because I've never felt more alone. The track is very violin heavy. I hate it.
Pretty sad.
Yeah, I think that idea of I don't even trust myself anymore. I don't know who I am. I feel, and again, I hate that I even have to say this, I'm not calling Blake Lively a perfect woman. I know she's made mistakes in her past, blah, blah, blah. I feel deeply empathetic, sympathetic for anyone who feels like their sense of self has been eroded away.
Also, the fact that you cannot even trust that the stuff that you're communicating privately won't be public.
Mm-hmm.
For so many reasons. Some reasons she's chosen because she felt like she had to sue him. But, I mean, I have this strange anxiety. I don't know if I've decided I'll just say it.
Mate, this is your Roman Empire anxiety.
So I do and have for the last few years had this anxiety that we call in our text between each other subpoena anxiety. Where even to Michelle, sometimes I won't actually say things. I'll put things in like random code and then just say subpoena anxiety. Like, have I never done this?
Annabelle, so much code. I'm like, babe, just say it to me in person because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because I think we see, I know it's absurd. I think that's also the entire part of anxiety is so much of it is irrational. Yeah. And there have been joking tweets over the last week, which is that like I need my friends not to get into lawsuits because my text messages couldn't hack it.
Well, also we'd be simply fucked. Unfortunately, I could do with more subpoena anxiety.
Well, I think everybody would be. But I think that most of it speaks to like this kernel of truth that at this point when everything is so trackable and traceable, it feels like there's very few places to be private in 2026. So few places to be private. And I think that's deeply stressful for a lot of incredibly famous people like Blake Lively and Taylor Swift.
I'd love to know how they feel about these text messages. I'd love to know how Taylor Swift feels. Like, she's copped some flack for this next one that we're about to read out. Some people love it, some people hate it, as is the world of celebrity. I'd be really curious to know how all of these A-listers are processing this behind closed doors. So the next day, the day after the messages we just read out to you, Justin Baldoni accepted that award. Remember how he got an award for championing women and being a male feminist? We spoke about this on the show. And
I remember. Tell me more about it.
I wish I could forget. Yeah. So he accepted that award and Taylor and Blake texted about it again. Blake sent a link to another article about him on this day and Taylor responded. She said, "I think this bitch knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin." Blake said, "Can you imagine feeling as confident as these predators that you're always going to get away with it? Him accepting an award as an ally for women, and Scooter, as in Scooter Braun, going about the world with his head held high as he co-owns and funds a crisis PR company that silences women." Taylor responded, "It's like a horror film nobody knows is taking place."
There were reports in Page Six this week that I suspect has come from Taylor's camp that she's not stoked about these texts being leaked, which I imagine is true, but I don't think they paint her in a particularly bad light at all. I think they're actually quite good.
Yeah.
Amongst her fan base.
People are like, "How dare you call him a bitch?" I'm like, whatever. Like we all speak to each other.
I think I might have some more choice words.
Worse words, yeah.
And
I said
I'm
more choice things.
not going to be that person in a glass house throwing stones.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so that's the Taylor Swift Blake Lively exchange. We also had unsealed communications between Liz Plank, a woman who is a very high-profile feminist broadcaster who hosted a podcast with Justin Baldoni called Man Enough. That show was all about kind of eroding
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, eroding thoughts around toxic masculinity. And she had been talking to Blake throughout this time as well about Justin Baldoni.
And Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband. So in 2023, Liz messaged Ryan, "I tried to warn Blake on the red flags, but was hoping Justin had gotten better. Working on his set was truly one of the worst days of my life, but it's survivable and I'll help."
So I think just to lay this out on the timeline, 2023 was well before this film came out, well before any of this controversy. This was basically during filming. During this time and for at least a year and a half after this text message, Liz Plank was still publicly co-hosting the Man Enough podcast with Justin Baldoni. So I think it is a little confusing. A month later, so still in 2023, she messaged Blake, "I keep thinking I should have been more direct with the level of dysfunction. I thought maybe things had gotten better. And I know you already know this, but none of this is your fault. It is astounding they have gotten away with so much. You inspire me in more ways you can possibly imagine, Blake." Just to be clear as well, the they in that context refers to
Jamie Heath,
who is like the head of the production company of Justin Baldoni's and also one of the EPs, or I think producers of the film.
Yeah, I've so many question marks about this for me. I know you just said it, the timeline. I don't really understand how Liz Plank was sending messages like this behind the scenes, but then was appearing alongside Justin Baldoni and reinforcing him as this male feminist for another 18 months afterward.
Yeah, I think as I was reading this, I had obviously slight complicating feelings about it because, if a guy is ostensibly or allegedly really problematic, I don't always want it to be the women in his orbit that have to kind of lose their jobs or step down or whatever it might be because of his behaviour. That said, in this specific case, I feel very complicated about the fact it wasn't just a job they were on together. It was a podcast called Man Enough where they were railing against toxic masculinity and pushing forward this conversation about feminism with Justin Baldoni as the face of it when she, behind closed doors, ostensibly here, doesn't think he represents any of that.
Working on his set was truly one of the worst days of my life, but it's survivable. I think we can even leave this part of it here. I just will always find that part of this story very, very fascinating. We also got comms between Jenny Slate. So Jenny is the actress that plays Blake's best friend in It Ends With Us and her then agent. So there was a back and forth with Jenny Slate and her agent. She wrote in one text, "This week was really intense for a few reasons. It's fascinating and also so shitty. Justin and Jamie are truly unfit. I'm not scared or anything, just repulsed and deeply irritated. And I know Blake is experiencing that on a much more serious level. Feel like it's about to get really bad and I'm not sure what Blake's limit is, but she's taken a lot of crap from them, like crazy shit. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that Justin and Jamie freak me out. They tell really weird lies. And Justin is astoundingly wrong-headed."
She went on, "I really don't get how he did a TED Talk. He is worse than most of the bros I've encountered." She then said Justin didn't seem aware of any of the obvious no-nos. In another exchange, Jenny Slate told her team, "I don't want anything to do with Justin. I don't want to talk about him, nothing." And the same goes for Jamie, who was truly unprofessional. "This has been a really gross and disturbing shoot, and I am one of many that feel this way." When these text messages came out last week, Mish, I think we took a moment at our desks and I was like, this is pretty astounding stuff to read from behind the scenes. And I think for me, some of the stuff that stands out is I know Blake is experiencing that on a much more serious level. I think many of the themes that come out through these text messages is how have these guys got away with what they've got away with for so long. And I appreciate there are still so many people out there that look at Blake Lively and find her annoying, don't find her credible, find her dishonest or whatever it might be. But I can't help but read this and think this is a woman who, yes, in maybe some text messages may not seem that likable. Hello, dragons. However, this is a woman who also decided at the end of 2024 that she would put her entire reputation on the line to be the one that holds Justin in particular and Jamie, because he's part of the lawsuit, to account. That is a spectacularly brave thing to do, to say, I will ruin my public reputation and I will run the risk of taking this to trial and maybe never working properly again in order to ensure that somebody is standing up to them. I surely don't think we're having enough conversations about that.
Yeah, this story is the most infuriating story we have ever covered in the almost 8 years of doing Shameless, because I don't know, did you look at the Daily Oz's comment section when they posted a great feed post about the newly unsealed comms in this case? And the comment section was still filled with mostly women saying, how dare you be so biased against Justin Baldoni? Go and read the case. You haven't read things. This is so one-sided and pro-Blake. And I genuinely feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone because I am reading everything I can come across. I am absorbing as much of this as is humanly possible. Yeah. The fact so many women are still so anti-Blake and pro-Justin makes me feel like I don't know, someone has put me in an alternate reality.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Why are so many people so fixed in their hate of Blake and so fixed in their loving of Justin, and they will not take any new information on board and change their opinion?
Yeah, I think it's that. It's putting the pride and ego to the side to say, this is a guy who also had his case unceremoniously thrown out, completely thrown out. His own case against the entire thing was thrown out. And I think it's we've got such collective amnesia with the facts in this that are pointing towards Justin not being perfect or good. You have a whole list of unsealed text messages here.
How many women
have to
come out pre-2024? How many women have to say this guy is wrong-headed?
Was it astoundingly wrong-headed? Yeah.
What actually needs to happen for some of these pro-Justin people to go, maybe I got this a little wrong, which, by the by, we all get things wrong every second of every day.
Bit of humility goes a long way.
Bit of humility goes so long. What actually would need to happen for them to go, maybe perhaps I could have seen more shades of grey here.
Well, it's beyond repair for me now. And I think the scary part to me is we might be in the safe-ish, and I put that in inverted commas for Blake, the peak for Blake, because the trial hasn't happened yet. This should be the most positive week for the Blake Lively legal team. And I still think there are people that are refusing to believe it. This is only going to get messier and more muddled with a trial. That is what is going to happen. Like, I think we all need to be very open about that. When you have two very powerful legal teams fighting and one is pretty dirty, like this will get muddy. And we need to expect that.
Yeah.
So this should be the period that's best for Blake. And if it's not, I am like pretty worried about that. We also probably need to talk about those headlines that Jameela Jamil has found herself embroiled in.
Yeah, of course. Jameela Jamil is the very vocal feminist. She starred in The Good Place and a bunch of other stuff. It turns out Jameela shares a publicist with Justin Baldoni. So Jennifer Abel repped them both. I don't know if she still reps them both or did during this time. In texts between Jennifer Abel and Jameela Jamil, they had been discussing some of Blake Lively's quotes on the press tour for It Ends With Us in August 2024. So that's where we are on the timeline, right? August 2024, before Blake's lawsuit comes to light and that New York Times expose. Jameela wrote to Jennifer, she, as in Blake, is a suicide bomber at this point. I've never seen such a bizarre villain act before. Jameela, came out and explained this part of the story this week. She posted a social media video where she said, I think it's really weird that my private text messages for 18 months ago have suddenly been released now. My name has deliberately been unredacted to cause as much trouble as possible for me, even though these text messages have nothing to do with the case. She obviously feels quite slighted by this. I guess I kind of understand. I'm not really across how Jameela Jamil's comms with Jennifer Abel are relevant to the case. I guess maybe they're a little tangential.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I also can't quite see it. That said, it's not just like one case is bringing tangential, irrelevant stuff to the fore. Like Justin Baldoni's team, when they had a lawsuit going, were doing this the entire time, bringing stuff in that was kind of trying to be litigated in the court of public opinion that was never relevant to the case at hand. But yes, I agree.
She went on and she said, I had no idea about any of this stuff, so I was just purely venting to my friend about how I felt about the press rollout for that fucking terrible movie. Me calling her a suicide bomber is just a reference to me watching someone use their own terrible answers in interviews to blow up their own career or their own project. I found that both funny and very agitating, and I'm just kidding around in private text messages. It's like I get 65% of what she's saying. The other 35%, I'm like, what do you mean that she was blowing up her own career? Like, if you know anything about the case, if you've done any reading, you know that she's alleging that there was a full bot campaign, like a fully orchestrated tear down.
In fairness, I think what Jameela could argue with that is like, well, I didn't know that at the time in August.
Yeah.
That said, there were some people trying to say it at the time, if I may.
Yeah.
No, I won't go there. Look, I think it's the next part as well that's worth touching on.
Sorry to say, but there's been bigger shit going on. I care more about what's happening in Palestine and Sudan and Congo and the United Kingdom and the United States and the fact that people don't have money for healthcare or food. I'm less interested in anything that's happening with wealthy celebrities. I'm sorry. I know that this is important to so many of you, but they're the last people I'm worried about. I believe they're both going to be fine no matter what happens. They're both going to be safe and healthy and happy and fine and loved.
I bristled at this part of the video because I think it implies that if you do care about celebrity stories or you do ever dabble in the more frivolous side of the pop culture news cycle, you don't care about the atrocities happening around the world. And what I would say to that is actually I think it's quite good for the mind to sometimes dabble in the lighter news because the world can be a tricky place to live in and move through. And I think this is a case of whataboutism because clearly she cared about this story. She was texting her friend about it. So it's not just us caring about the frivolous, sugary celebrity stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a pure case of whataboutism. I think all of that is true. I think you absolutely can care about what is happening in this case and also can absolutely care about what's going on in the world. And I think it is a really damaging rhetoric to push out there that you can only pick a side, like you can only pick one. Either you care about this Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case and what the outcome is, or you care about what's happening in the world. And we know, obviously, that's not the case. To your point, I think dabbling in celebrity bolsters your ability to care about everything else because I think it gives you balance. And I think balance is crucial to being able to maintain motivation and a care factor about what is happening in this world. I would also say I don't think this is nearly, and I've said this from the start, and I feel so deeply passionate about this. This is not the first world problem that so many people want to pretend this is. The idea that someone can hack an algorithm, allegedly hack an algorithm against somebody else is not a first world problem. They are A-list celebrities who, yes, will be fine and likely healthy and wealthy forever. But this is like symptomatic of something that may not be a first world problem going forward. If our algorithms fundamentally change how we think about things, that is like a global crisis in my mind.
We need to make people care about it through celebrity stories because they're simply
It's a
not going to
test
care
case.
about political stories. Also, I would say Jameela Jamil has built her profile on often speaking about the way the media has written about her. She is a wealthy celebrity. So I find it difficult for her to turn around and be like, why are we talking about wealthy celebrities? They'll be fine. Because you could say the same to her. Okay, the media headlines you don't always like about you. You're a wealthy celebrity, you'll be fine. I don't agree with that. These people are still people. Like, celebrities still have the range of emotions anyone else has. And I think it's totally fair enough that we analyse the way we speak about women in the public eye. Jameela Jamil has championed that her entire career. So to turn around now and say, don't do that, she's wealthy, she'll be fine. I'm like, that contradicts half the stuff you say.
Well, yeah, I also just think it's deeply symptomatic, like all of these stories, whether it's headlines about women or like what algorithms are doing, of like much broader things at play.
Yeah.
And these are all test cases. Like in this is a huge test case for me between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Yes, a lot of it's about the sexual harassment and case, but the stuff around the bot campaign is a huge test case in what we do. We know that bot campaigns can and will change the outcome of elections. So if we cannot care about this and say that this is not just about wealthy celebrities, this is like fundamentally about, you know, how we consume media and consume social media, then I struggled.
Everyone's making me feel crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Coming up after the break, we have a lot more to cover. Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Brooklyn Beckham, the whole shebang.
Zaz, I feel like every time we drive around Melbourne lately, there's a new development popping up. Like the whole city is just buzzing with new stuff.
It really is. Speaking of which, I've been seeing Revo Fitness signs absolutely everywhere. They are seriously coming in hot to Melbourne. Revo Fitness have been adding a bunch of new locations to their already huge network across the country.
Their price is genuinely shocking. It's only $9.69 per week. And the best part is they have no lock-in contracts and zero hidden fees. It takes the stress out of joining a gym.
Totally, and they're not skimping on the equipment either. They have all the pin-loaded stuff, cardio-free weights. It's a gym for everybody, whatever your goal is. I was actually excited to see they have Reformer Pilates too.
Same here. If you get their upgrade for just $3 more per week, you get unlimited access to Reformer Pilates, the massage chairs, and even the body scanners. Seriously, if you're looking for a simple, flexible, and affordable option.
Yeah, huge. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Go check out the locations and join online at revofitness.com.au. That is revofitness.com.au.
Our second story, Kim Kardashian makes rare comments about super talented Taylor Swift. That is from People Mag. Kim K went on her sister Khloe's podcast, Khloe in Wonderland.
Yeah, in that episode, this exchange happened.
Do you think people would be surprised that you listen to Taylor Swift?
I think I've said it.
I think people would be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I have her, like some of her older songs in my playlist. I've always thought she's like a super talented, great artist.
Okay.
I was applying lip gloss.
I know. I said okay, and then I looked over and she was manicuring.
You look great.
For everyone watching on the video, I'm just finishing.
Interesting timing for Kim Kardashian to come out and decide to say this. It was interesting because in the episode she was like, I feel like I've said this before. And I was like, I feel like you haven't.
I feel like you're wolfing us.
Yeah. It's funny because I think Kim Kardashian has very much been pushing this idea that this feud is over. Taylor Swift has been pushing. I mean, in 2023, remember those quotes she gave to Time?
Oh, my gal loves a grudge.
Yeah. She said, you have a fully manufactured frame job in an illegally recorded phone call, which Kim Kardashian edited and then put out to say to everyone everyone that I was a liar. That took me down psychologically to a place I've never been before. I moved to a foreign country. I didn't leave my rental house for a year. I was afraid to get on phone calls. I pushed away most people in my life because I didn't trust anyone anymore. I went down really hard. So just so we're clear, it doesn't feel like Taylor Swift is over it, but Kim Kardashian is very much like, oh my God, we're done here.
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift finished off that quote by saying the trash takes itself out every time, implying the trash is. And then she wrote, thank you, Amy, which, wasn't a glowing endorsement of Kim Kardashian, I would say.
No, catchy song though.
I don't like that song. That's probably my least favourite song she's written.
I like the song. I wish she just had thank you, Amy, without the capital. So it was like so obviously. So it wasn't, I should say, so obviously about Taylor Swift. Oh my God, about Kim Kardashian.
So it wasn't about Kim, but then she changed. Remember when she then changed the capitalizations to yay? This is the 2% of messiness that Taylor Swift leans into that you and I find icky.
Yeah, we don't have to spend very long on here. I just find it very interesting that Kim has decided to do this at a point where I don't particularly think the Kardashians are relevant nearly as much as they need or want to be. And I wonder if it just says now that Taylor Swift is too big to go up against, so if you can't beat him, join him. Like pretend to be her friend or that you love her because she is too powerful now to try and even argue against.
I completely agree.
Great.
Our third story.
Wonderful.
Brooklyn Beckham's wedding DJ speaks about awkward dance. That is from the BBC. Before we get into it, Annabelle Lee, give me a headline of thoughts. Are you even across the Beckhams?
This was the first thing I saw. Actually, I didn't delete Facebook. So I saw an article headline and I read all about it. Crazy
so between you on
stuff,
Facebook
guys.
and Zara on LinkedIn, we're really covered.
Super covered. Nice, Belle.
Yeah.
Did you see anything else online or just that?
Not really, no. It was bliss.
Oh, it is bliss.
Are you on anyone's side? Brooklyn's side, Dave and Victoria?
I don't know. It's hard, hey.
Yeah, it's hard, hey.
I sympathise with both sides.
Nice.
Maybe
Switzerland over here.
Brooklyn. Maybe slightly Brooklyn leaning. Yep.
Okay, well, we have had one man come out of the woodwork in the last week, and that is DJ Fat Tony.
Of course.
Of course. Now, DJ Fat Tony is, I think, a personal maybe friend of the Beckham family. It seems that he has DJ'd many a Beckham event in his time. He went on ITV's This Morning at the end of last week to give us the full rundown of what happened. Random, but this is what he said.
Mark Anthony was performing on stage. He then called Brooklyn onto stage. Brooklyn went onto the stage where the next minute everyone was expecting it to be Nicola to go up and do the first dance. And then Mark Anthony asks the most beautifulest woman in the room to come to the stage. And then he says, Victoria, come to the stage. So Victoria's by the stage. She goes onto the stage. And of course, at that point, Brooklyn's like suddenly literally devastated because he thought he was going to do his first dance with his wife. Then Nicola leaves the room crying her eyes out. Brooklyn's stuck there on stage. And then they do this dance and Mark Anthony's like, go, put your hands on your mother's hips. And it was a Latin, it's a Latin thing. And the whole situation was really awkward for everyone in the room. And I've done an awful lot of Beckham parties in the past, and they're a very dancey, close-knit family. They love to dance, right? Yeah. So, what we deem as inappropriate is not how Brooklyn feels.
A couple of things. I think some people will be surprised by the voice. He is 60, DJ Fat Tony, and so I think he's a veteran of the DJ. I just want to get that out.
Got the elephant in the room.
I think
we're all thinking it.
I think people will be surprised by the voice. Second, I said last week I thought Mark Anthony was the true supervillain of the wedding, and that is the case. It sounds like Mark Anthony made this fucking awkward for everyone. What Victoria should have done is gone up, taken the mic and gone, Mark, we all know the most beautifulest woman in the room is the bride.
Do you want to do that again?
No.
I'm very royal.
I thought it was good. But sometimes it's good to, someone takes a punt at something, you really threw something at that. It's good to let them sit in it to see how confident they feel.
Do you want to turn, Zara?
Yeah. Mark. We all know the most beautiful woman in the room is the bride.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I actually got acting tips from Gwyneth Paltrow.
What'd she say?
Her episode with Amy Poehler for Good
Poehler.
Hang.
Good app.
Focus on the vowels.
The vows.
She had,
I didn't do that then.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That's a great word to use to get to British accent.
Shout out to all our Brits. Hope you like that one. Little shout out to you.
Mark Anthony's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I also do think Victoria may have asked for this too.
Is it weird to put your hands on your son's hips and do a bit of a Latin dance?
Not if you're a dancey family.
Not if you're a dancey family. Would you consider yourself dancey?
No, absolutely not. If my mum or dad tried to, oh my God, I would push them away. Paul Andrews
not.
come up to you on the dance floor.
No, I find this weird, Dad. I know you'll be listening. That would be weird. I think it is strange. I think a lot of this is highly, highly weird.
But
Victoria
was a former pop star.
That changes absolutely nothing.
Oh, I think it changes a lot. Anyway, look, I don't know why DJ Fat Tony's decided to do this, by the way. It is causing a little bit of chaos. And I know you said he's a veteran, but I don't think he's at the end of his career. He's only 60. It's too early to retire.
I would say 60 for a DJ is retirement age.
Do you
How
reckon-
old do you think you can retire, like DJ for?
I kind of think it comes all back around again. You know,
You've
like
reborn.
well, like it would be kind of cool to get like an 80-year-old DJ.
I would say the retirement age for DJing is the same as the retirement age for being in the Australian cricket team, about 40. Sorry.
Oh.
If I have any
This is a hot
octogenarian
take.
DJs listening. No. Come on now.
Are you being ageist about DJs?
When should podcasters retire?
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
32. So count your days, everyone. You've got a couple of months.
Shit, man. Yes, look, you're not getting invited to a Beckham party after this. Surely not by speaking to the press.
Did he speak to the media?
If he's done multiple Beckham events and also been trusted with the wedding of Brooklyn, it is a really interesting choice. Look, it is kind of confusing because if you go back and read the British Vogue profile of the wedding itself, the writer Derek Blasberg of this story was also a guest at the wedding. And he basically said that Nicola and Brooklyn did have a first dance to Can't Help Falling in Love.
No, they definitely did. This is the confusing part.
I wonder if they wanted two. I suspect what's happened here is they wanted two first dances and they had their first and then they wanted something jazzier, but Victoria's like, simply who needs two? So snaked.
Or a build on that.
Yeah.
You and I both know that if we had arguments with our husbands in the lead up to our weddings, it was over music choices. Is this a case of them not deciding what their first dance song was? They go, well, I want this. And then it's like, well, we're doing two because I want my first dance.
I think
Dance,
it's
Is it dance or dance?
Potato.
I think it's more about being centre stage.
And also, if you've got a 3-day fucking wedding, how many first dances do you, like?
I reckon they wanted two. Now, just quickly before we move on as well, we have to acknowledge the fact that Victoria Beckham's not such an innocent girl. Her single from 2001 was the highest selling single in the UK last week.
Beat Harry Styles' new song, Aperture.
Which is a very good song, by the way.
Oh, you like it. We listened to it for the first time together and I thought you had a similar reaction to Aperture that you did to Midnight Rain the first time we listened to that.
4 listens in,
Yep.
I couldn't love it more.
I
at that
really
point.
like it too. It's getting rinsed
No,
on social media.
I think this will be a slow burn. I think this will be a cult classic.
A cult classic?
Have you listened?
Yes, it's different.
It's
to his
giving a
other
bit of
stuff.
like Rufus Party.
Yeah, I see
Slow
that.
burn.
Yeah. So Victoria Beckham, that means that it wasn't just streamed, guys. This is people buying the MP3.
Which I just don't think Harry Styles' team ever for a single second anticipated that their main competition for number 1 on the UK charts was Victoria Beckham's 2001 single.
No, I agree with you. I think the last thing I'll say on this as well is just that so often in these cases, I feel like a woman gets like a little tiny chip against her and that's it, like the whole house of cards collapses. But that hasn't happened with Victoria Beckham.
Sorry?
What?
What?
Well, like, you get a little chip. Someone says like, you're a bitch. And
we
then everyone's
cancel
like,
women easily.
super easily.
Not Vicky Beckham though.
No, everyone's still leaned into this being icon status. It may be because of the association with David. I often think that helps because it's been leveled at both of them. But people are still looking at Victoria Beckham. She seems randomly insulated from this.
I think it's mostly to do with people actually not having a very solid foundation with Brooklyn Beckham.
Yeah.
He's a weak opponent, unfortunately. People are used to mocking Brooklyn Beckham's cooking and his photo of elephants, and he's not a strong contender in a feud.
Do you think if we didn't ever have the Nepo baby conversations around Brooklyn Beckham with his photography book and his cooking, this would be an entirely different conversation?
10,000%.
Yeah. All right. Coming up after the break, let's talk about Margot, Robbie and Jacob Elordi and then a new reality show on Netflix. But first, a word from today's sponsor.
So Zara, let's talk about that new summer craving that's hitting Australia, Sodally.
It is designed to be your next great obsession. It is bubbly, flavoursome and highly refreshing, offering all the fizz, none of the shiz.
It genuinely tastes like the best version of a nostalgic soft drink.
The Better For You soft drink is full of prebiotic goodness. Once you get hooked on the taste, it is an addiction you can enjoy.
Visit remedydrinks.com for details on the next Sodally drop and get hooked on the good stuff.
Thank you so much to Remedy for making this episode of Shameless possible. Our fourth story. This is a summer of love. Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi on Wuthering Heights and taking Queensland to Hollywood. That is from Vogue Australia.
I'm so excited to talk about this.
First and foremost, great photos, Vogue Australia. Props to you all.
Beautiful.
Really, really good stuff.
Some of the hottest photos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like snaps for Vogue Australia. That black contraption they put Margot in where her boob was held up by one strap of fabric on one side and then the other side was like a dress. I was like, how?
Well, you're Margot Robbie.
That's how.
That's how. Now, you may have seen a few quotes between these two flying around because they're playing an interesting press game at the moment, Michelle. That's what I'll call it, an interesting press game. In an interview with Fandango last week. Are we going to...
Who the fuck is Fandango?
They've been around.
I'm sorry, but if Jacob Elordi is going to speak to Fandango,
He can speak to
speak
Shameless.
to Shameless podcast.
Hold on, actually, let me have a quick look at this before we make that. Oh, no, Fandango has 1 million followers.
It's real.
Yeah, but we're Australian and we have 300 and something thousand on Instagram. Jacob,
That's pretty good,
Jacob, if you're there...
Jacob, you're Melburnian.
Queensland and Melbourneian. He went to school with my brother in the same year. Have I said that on the show before? Probably. It's not a bad claim to fame.
Well, famously, my husband went to school
With Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah,
But they were 5
Star
years
of the
apart.
Crown. She was
Liam and
Diana
Jacob
of
were
the Crown.
same year, but Liam's not as cool. God bless you, Liam.
Well, you've heard it here first. Elizabeth Debicki and Jacob Elordi, a race. Who's going to be on Shameless
And
podcast?
Margot, if you want to snake them both, you know where to find us.
Who's the biggest patriot? Let's go.
Yeah, I would happily join the Wuthering Heights press tour. Now, he spoke to Fandango, 1 million followers of Fandango, and said that he and Margot had a mutual obsession with one another. He also added, if you, regardless of plot or screenplay, had the opportunity to share a film set with Margot Robbie, you're going to make sure you're within 5 to 10 metres of her at all times, watching how she drinks tea, how she eats her food, how she does it all. You ask yourself, when is it going to slip? When is the thing going to come undone? And it never does come undone. She's just like an elite actor and she's producing the movie, you know. So I don't know how somebody has the skill and the wisdom to do that as a performer and to give the performance she gave, but I was enamoured by her.
I was enamoured by her. Now, Margot was sitting a chair away from him as he was saying all this, by the way. In the same interview, she described their dynamic as codependent. Now, I will remind people she is married with a baby.
It's performance art, babe. We wouldn't understand. We're not actors.
She said, I'm so codependent with people I work with and I love everyone so much and I'm always that person who's so devastated when the job's over and I never want it to end. I think I developed that quite quickly with Jacob too. That quote, not that steamy, not that affair, baity. The following quotes are.
Do you want to play Margot or Jacob?
Belly, who do you think I'm more like?
You are more like
I'm
Jacob.
taller. I'm Jacob.
Yep. And you're dressed like Margot.
That is true.
And you would have been Margot Robbie if Trish McDonald and Dave McDonald ever took you to an acting lesson back in the day.
Yeah, though we've been doing some skits around the office and I've realised I actually don't have a natural acting bone in me, but that's for another time.
You do often have a little, when you're acting, a little smile on your face.
I can't help it. Like, well, for example, Belly probably could have been Margot.
Oh.
Belly still.
She's one of the
be.
greatest actors I've ever seen in
What
this life.
is this?
My greatest fear is that you are going to turn to us one day and be like, I'm going to pursue the acting
I've
thing.
unfortunately landed a movie
Oh.
that feels like a real movie. All right.
Okay,
I'm
you're Margot. I'm Jacob Elordi.
Let's go.
Belly, your laugh track. Let's go.
My next question for you. We were shooting on Valentine's Day. You made my day. And as Heathcliff filled my room with roses and it was so cute, what did I do for you?
On Valentine's Day,
I'm asking because I can't remember.
I don't think you did anything.
I must have done something.
No. And you know
Stop.
And you know what? The thing is, I thought you would.
I'm so sorry.
I think when I did it, I felt like I beat you.
You definitely beat me. Yours was so epic. I remember thinking on Valentine's Day, oh, he's probably a very good boyfriend because there's a lot of thoughtfulness in this. You did a lot of thoughtful things. It wasn't just the gesture of roses. It was a thing written from Heathcliff and a little tombstone thing. I was like, crafts. Love that. It was crafty. It was meaningful. It was dramatic.
Analysis time?
I love that we could have played a clip of that. We decided to.
Can we do the next exchange as well? And then analysis.
Okay. All right, well, okay, hang on. Let me get back into character.
Yeah.
I really didn't like shooting when Margot wasn't there.
I hated shooting when you weren't there.
There was this moment when she was off with Shazad Latif for God knows how long.
And you were off with Alison Oliver. And I was like, this is just not right. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm Margot. This is just not right.
Told you she'd be a bad actress. Loved shooting with Alison, and Shazad's a great guy.
Love them more than anything. But I was like, he's mine.
What are they doing? I love them both, by the way. Like, oh my God.
There's
Can't fault
something
them.
ethereal about this film that they're trying to push, both in her clothes, in the trailer. The only word I can think about it is the whole thing is meant to be set up as this like ethereal, otherworldly, deeply meaningful, kind of gothic,
Stupidly romantic.
stupidly romantic thing. And I think they just decided that this press tour would be them talking about each other very intensely as actors because it gets the headlines they need.
Can I suggest take away 10%? Like, you know, we say plus or minus 10%. They've gone 150% at the affair bait here. And I understand why. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I think it's done a little too much. It's been done. Like Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell did this, and that was
Different. That was trashier.
too many. Are you on my Twitter feed? If you're on my Twitter feed, people are rinsing them for this.
Yeah, but they're talking about them and the movie's out soon. And also you've just lost us our opportunity with Jacob Elordi to disagree with this.
No, Jacob, if you're listening, please, you show up in whatever form you want to if you're going to come on this show. I just think this particular PR plan a wee bit heavy on the affair bait.
I think it's clever. I think to cut through the noise of the news cycle at the moment, it's a clever way of doing it.
Belly?
I love
Heavy-handed
it.
or good? Okay.
Yeah.
Why am I so
Belly's
grumpy?
team Zaz today.
Next week it'll be you, Mish.
Why do you fucking hate me? No. Okay. I guess the other thing that people are saying on my Twitter feed is like, obviously we know this is all a shtick because Margot works very, very closely with her husband, Tom. Tom is involved in the making of this movie, so clearly he's involved in the PR plan too. I don't know.
And I think Jacob's back with Olivia Gianelli.
I did
so
see
it
those pap
seems.
shots.
Yeah.
They are the most on-again, off-again couple in Hollywood.
Yes, if the headlines are to be believed. Our fifth story. Speaking of headlines, Alix Earle to star in a new Netflix reality show alongside her family. That is from E!News. A very quick one to finish us off. But all the fan campaigning, of which there was a lot, has come true. Alix Earle, the TikToker, will star in a new, currently untitled Netflix series alongside her family. In a statement, she said, I share a lot of my life on social media and people think they know everything there is to know about me and my family. But honestly, there's so much more. She said she's excited to showcase how a fun, loving, sometimes chaotic modern family and how we always show up for each other through it all. With this show, I want to feel like you're even more in it with me in a way that's real and not curated.
This is making me miss the D'Amelio show. What happened to that?
I know.
I never watched
There
it.
was a few seasons and I actually quite enjoyed that
I loved the D'Amelio. This will have the D'Amelio show
vibe.
vibe.
Yeah, one of the EPs of this is Ben Winston, friend of the show, who has long sort of sat in the confines of my past basket. And he was the EP of the Kardashians.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people are naturally fans of Alix Earle's sister Ashton. Her stepmom is a woman called Ashley Dupre, who years ago was famous for getting involved with a New York governor's sex scandal, is now kind of also in that kind of icon status-y way, also building her own social media. Do you think that's maybe a stretch for me to say icon status-y way?
I think people are curious. I think the main
fair.
curiosity comes from Alix's mum and dad splitting and Ashley being the other woman. I think
Yeah.
that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
I don't
Now,
know if icon status.
I was trying to just be diplomatic, but I probably went a little far.
I think she's an interesting life story for sure.
I think they all are. Do we think there's appetite here? Because I think there is, but I think it is a very different market for reality show than when the Kardashians launched, for example. The Kardashians launched so many years ago, maybe like 20 or something, I don't know. And at that point, you didn't have access to their interior lives on social media, so there was so much you could learn. The value exchange is naturally less here. I agree with Alix that it will be less curated, as she says, because it's cameras around her all the time. But we still know quite a lot. So like the gap of what we can learn is shorter,
I agree with that.
lower, whatever that word is I'm looking for.
No, I'm with you. I think it depends a lot on a couple of things. The turnaround time between filming and the episodes actually coming out so they don't feel stale and old. I think it also purely depends on how much this family is willing to actually be honest. I think as soon as a reality star puts the wall up and doesn't want to speak about the reality of their life, I'm thinking of oh God, you're going to regret me getting on this now. I need to say this quickly. Kyle Richards in Beverly Hills or any of the Kardashians involved in the Kardashians, as soon as that happens, they're not actually interested in being honest and they want privacy, the show is done. You may as well not have them on because you're not going to get anything of substance anyway. So as long as Alix Earle is willing to bear all for this show and make the show the priority, not her social media following, not any other pursuit, if the show's the number one, she could get 20 seasons out of it. I think the more likely reality is that after a couple of seasons, people go, oh, fuck, I'm a bit gun shy now. And then the show loses its relevancy quite quickly.
Yeah, love that.
Hey, can you tell how much fucking reality TV I watch? I have rewatched every episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills over the
Done
break.
you. Can you finish The Traitors? I just finished the latest season. Anyway, you're welcome to come to my DMs now.
Don't come to mine. I haven't finished it. The secret traitor twist is compelling.
It's a good season.
Is this UK?
Yeah, new season, babe.
Do you watch The Traitors?
I watched the celeb one a few times, a few episodes.
Yeah, she had to watch like 2-3 episodes because you weren't in the recordings and I had to talk to somebody about it. But she was not passionate.
I enjoyed it.
You didn't finish
a normal level of enjoyment, yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Tepid.
I'm hot. I have to get out of here.
Oh, it's boiling in here.
warm.
Guys, thank you for listening. Love you.
All right.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.
Well, you don't
guys.
love me today, Belly, but that's all right. We've got next week.
No, I love you.
There's always next week.
There's always
thanks,
next
Belly.
week.
Thanks, Mish. Thanks, Mon in the corner.
Thanks, Azzy. Thanks, Mon.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was recorded on Wurundjeri land. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.